Welcome, curious minds, to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're embarking on a really compelling journey into ancient visions of the future.
hmm
Our deep dive is going to unpack two distinct yet powerfully resonant sets of prophecies.
Yeah, one rooted in Lakota tradition
Yeah,
and the other echoing these broader, maybe more familiar apocalyptic narratives.
exactly. And our mission, like always, is to pull out the key insights, help you get a quick but thorough grasp of what these powerful accounts might suggest about, the human experience and maybe the path ahead.
It's a fascinating topic, really,
Huh.
bridging these vast cultural and historical landscapes, but all tied together by that um, timeless human question, what's next?
Absolutely. We're definitely looking into some profound predictions today.
We are.
So let's start with our first source. We're looking at excerpts from an audio recording, the Lakota Prophecy.mp3. It recounts the visions of the great warrior Crazy Horse.
Right.
We're talking late 1800s here. He was a young man leading thousands, but he went on this profound vision quest.
A really critical practice in Lakota culture, seeking guidance. And the source mentions he sort of knew his time was coming when he undertook
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, that's the context.
And what's really striking, according to this account anyway, is that many of his visions have supposedly already, well, come through.
Happened already.
Yeah, everything he apparently said would happen has happened, which, really sets the stage for the two prophecies that, according to this source, are still yet to unfold.
Okay, so the first one. Crazy Horse, on his third day of the quest, he said he heard the voices of the children cry.
Hmm. And this prophecy, if we connect it to now, the interpretation offered is that it signifies a time of, like, intense spiritual searching.
And hunger and thirst.
Exactly. A hunger and thirst for spirituality, but happening right alongside these widespread societal problems.
Yeah.
The examples given are, well, they're quite stark.
Yeah, what were they again?
Child abuse, child neglect, spouse abuse, elderly abuse, abuse of one another, and even self-abuse. And this account directly states, quote, "We are in that era right now. I think we're at the end of it." That's the interpretation given.
We're at the end of it. Okay. And then the next vision, even more dramatic, sounds like.
Yes.
He saw a huge light, a flash in the sky, and it became brighter than day.
Intense.
And the aftermath described is just as stark. Charcoal and ashes fall from sky and cover the earth, the city.
But, and this is key, what follows that destruction is this vision of a new beginning.
Ah, okay.
The account says Crazy Horse saw new grass grow and the water is clear. And this time he only see God's children playing down there.
So a purification almost.
It hints at renewal, yeah. A very striking contrast.
And the source does mention these prophecies are similar to those of other tribes and that they're coming and it's going to be here soon. That's
Okay.
okay. So having looked at Crazy Horse's visions, let's pivot now. Let's turn to another set of prophecies. These come from different ancient apocalyptic narratives. They offer their own distinct feel, but, still powerfully resonant themes about the future.
Yeah, different source, different context, but let's see where the connections might be.
They start by describing what's called the beginning of birth pains.
Right, this birth pains concept.
Mhm.
It's crucial in these narratives. It's a metaphor, really, for intensifying global turmoil that leads up to some kind of major transformation.
So what are the signs?
Well, it details things like nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, standard conflict, but intensifying, and also famines and earthquakes in various places.
Okay.
And the text really emphasizes the scale of distress. It says it's unequal from the beginning of the world until now and never to be equaled again.
That's quite a statement.
It is. It even says if those days had not been cut short, no one would survive.
Oh.
That's the level of crisis depicted.
Wow. Okay, so immediately following that period, these narratives describe huge changes, celestial and earthly. Things like the sun will be darkened and the moon will not give its light. The stars will fall from the sky and the heavenly bodies will be shaken.
And what's fascinating here, the text says, is the appearance of the sign of the Son of Man right at that time. It implies this real sense of urgency.
How so?
Well, the quote is, "When you see all these things, you know that it is near, right at the door."
Right at the door. Imminent.
Exactly. And this material makes a very direct, very absolute statement about it. He says, "Truly, I tell you, this generation will certainly not pass away until all these things have happened. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away.
That's definitive. It also uses the days of Noah as an analogy, right?
Yes, saying people back then knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away.
So the message is unpreparedness.
And vigilance.
Mm-hmm.
The instruction is clear. Keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come. Unpredictable timing.
Okay.
And this leads into what's described as the harvest of the earth.
Harvest sounds ominous.
The imagery is incredibly vivid. There's an angel in the sickle and the declaration. The time to reap has come, for the harvest of the earth is ripe.
And then there's that image of the pale horse.
Unforgettable, yeah. A pale horse. Its rider was named Death, and Hades was following close behind him. It's very potent symbolism.
And the sun features again, but differently this time.
Yes, it becomes almost an instrument of judgment. The fourth angel poured out his bowl on the sun, and the sun was allowed to scorch people with fire.
Torch people.
They were seared by the intense heat, and they cursed the name of God, but they refused to repent and glorify him. That refusal to repent is a recurring theme here.
And the physical destruction described, it's just immense.
Absolutely devastating.
The account details, a third of the earth was burned up, a third of the trees were burned up, and all the green grass was burned up.
Yeah.
Just gone.
And that's followed by a severe earthquake. The narrative states, no earthquake like it has ever occurred since the human race has been on Earth. So tremendous was the quake.
Unprecedented.
Totally. The great city split into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations collapsed. Every island fled away, and the mountains could not be found. Just complete upheaval of the landscape.
And then the hailstones.
Oh yeah, that final striking detail. From the sky, huge hailstones, each weighing about 100 pounds, fell on people.
100 pounds each.
That's what it says. And they cursed God on account of the plague of hail.
Right.
Because the plague was so terrible. Again, cursing, not repenting.
So the ultimate outcome, according to the source material.
It states that in the last days, day of the Lord will come like a thief. There's that unexpectedness again.
Like a thief?
The heavens will disappear with a roar. The elements will be destroyed by fire, and the earth and everything done in it will be laid bare. A complete fiery end to the current state.
Okay, let's unpack this. We've just gone through 2 incredibly powerful and, distinct prophetic traditions.
Very distinct origins, yeah.
We've got crazy horses visions from Lakota tradition, and then these really striking apocalyptic narratives. So what does this all mean when we look at them side by side? What patterns jump out at you?
Well, what's truly fascinating, I think, is how these seemingly disparate accounts, they really converge on several key themes or experiences.
Like what?
Both describe an initial period of profound societal or maybe spiritual distress.
The crying children and the birth pains?
Exactly, that crying children era from the Lakota prophecy with its whole list of abuses and that spiritual hunger. It aligns remarkably well with the birth pains and that theme of refusing to repent that we saw in the apocalyptic narratives.
So a kind of foundational instability or moral decay that comes before the big changes.
It seems to suggest that, yes. And then you see this consistent theme of cataclysmic events. Both accounts paint these vivid pictures of celestial signs, intense fire, massive earthly destruction.
Right, the huge light and falling ash in one.
And the sun darkening, stars falling, earth burning in the other. It's almost like across different cultures, there's this shared, maybe archetypal understanding of how huge transformations might manifest physically, like a deep-seated pattern in human thought about endings and beginnings.
That's interesting.
And crucially, both also hint at some kind of radical transformation or a new beginning afterwards.
Okay.
For Crazy Horse, it's that peaceful scene, right? New grass grow, God's children playing, implying a return to innocence or purity.
A restoration.
Whereas the other account talks about the earth being laid bare, elements destroyed by fire, which implies a complete reset before anything new can emerge. Different flavors, but both suggest something follows the destruction.
And that sense of timing.
Yes, that's the other major parallel. That sense of imminence. Phrases like soon, right at the door, like a thief. They all suggest these events aren't just some distant theoretical possibility.
But potentially close and maybe unexpected.
Exactly. Unexpected arrival. It speaks volumes about, perhaps, a deep human anxiety about the unknown future, but maybe also a kind of underlying hope for ultimate resolution or change.
So here's where it gets really interesting for you listening in. What stands out to you about these visions of the future, especially given these surprising parallels we've just discussed?
Yeah, it raises a big question, doesn't it? If we connect this to the bigger picture, What might these prophecies, these ancient warnings and visions, be highlighting about, say, enduring human anxieties? Or our relationship with the world around us, our capacity for both destruction and renewal?
It's not just predicting what might happen.
No, maybe it's more about what these deep-seated visions tell us about ourselves, about our perennial struggles with the challenges we face as societies as individuals.
That really brings us to the end of this deep dive. Thank you for joining us as we explored these incredibly powerful prophetic visions.
It's been fascinating to explore.
And as you go about your day, here's something to consider, a final thought. If both these prophecy sets, coming from such different places, both point towards a period of intense struggle, maybe cataclysm, followed by some kind of radical transformation, what does that suggest? What individual or collective responsibility, if any, do these insights imply for us right now, living in what one source called the time of the voices of the children cry?